in chief, and what I said, those were the 10,000, and there may be another layer of editors. Then we go to 180,000 individuals that may receive a letter from Elsevier via email, what's going on in the marketplace and how to address those questions. We would prepare an answer for them that they can send to these parties. So that's how we go about it. We kind of involve the central public relations team. But you're right. I mean, I haven't had that happening for a while, but yeah. Thanks for the question. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah. You said you did switch on your mic.
The metrics. You mentioned that one has to evaluate, or the way that it is evaluated is that the way that a paper is evaluated is how many people are citing, which universities are citing, and I don't know much about which universities are citing. Is there a ranking that is used?
That's not kept. I mean, that's obviously known, and you can find out. But as a number, as a metrics number, it doesn't give you all that detail. You would have to really dive into that detail on the providing platforms such as Scopus or Web of Science, right? Because it's only a measure. So all citations have the same weight once they're in these systems. It's not because I would say like MIT, if somebody cites a paper and this individual works at MIT, that citation wouldn't be valued higher than the citation of someone else, right? So it doesn't take that into consideration. And it shouldn't, I think, in all fairness, because it will only provide benefit to those institutes we already know are at the top of the world, right? Thanks. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, assuming your paper contains the data, the data is in the paper itself, and you are also requesting for an additional supplementary data. How do you do it? How do you go about it? Are you repeating the same data twice? Because now I know they are publishing your data, you have to write something about it. They have it published aside the manuscript.
Yeah.
Now, if the data is also in the manuscript itself, how do you go about it?
Yeah, I think there's a slide. I'm not sure whether I can put it back easily. Because it is about the this one. So what you would normally do, the second row shows you the interpreted data. What you would normally do, traditionally, so to speak, you would show data, but data as in the form of figures, right? And tables. This layer underneath is the raw data that could sit in Excel, or it could sit in a specific format that's used in math, for example. And that's what we would take. So not the interpretation of the data, but the data themselves. So it isn't a duplication of what you've already done. It isn't. It's something different. Yeah. Thank you. Any more questions? Okay, well, thank you then. This is not my laptop. No, so it's your colleagues. Yeah, okay, so they have the presentation already.
Thank you very much, Annette. Can we once again applaud her and the Elsevier group for coming to share with us some of the key issues and key ideas within the publishing industry. I hope you will take with you some key messages from this, especially those of you who are new to the whole area of academic publishing. We have learned a few jargons, salami slicing. Now you know what it is. If you're salami slicing, then take note. We have also learned, for example, that if you submit a paper, you can recommend a reviewer, somebody you know. So obviously, being part of a particular profession and discipline, that is something that you can also take with you. Issues about journal impact factor and the different metrics available. The one of interest to me is the alternative metrics, because it's something that I find very interesting. And Annette has explained that one benefit of alternative metrics is that in the first few weeks of publishing an article, you get a feel of what people think about it, if you actually use that particular metrics to actually monitor your work. For those of you who haven't actually engaged with OSIT or OCID, whichever way you put it, I would encourage you to go to the website and then register, so that you have a unique, what do you call it, identifier, because that is unique to you as an author. So everywhere you enter that, all your publication, everything about you will be known. And it's a very simple process, very simple to do. So that is something else that you can also take advantage of. On questions of ethics, we in the library, obviously in this university, we have access to the Turnitin software. Those of you who are not familiar with it or do not know how to use it, please pop into the library, go to the Research Commons, or come into the main library, and there'll be somebody there to take you through the process of how you can register and use the plagiarism checking software to check your work. But as we have also noted, it is not just about text matching. Increasingly, people are also manipulating images. That is an area that I need to look into. And being a science and technology university, I assume that most of the publications that we have would go with images. So we need to provide some guidance to lecturers and other people using images in their work, the sort of things that they need to take a note of. But thank you all very much for coming, and I'd like to say a big thank you to Sharif Gaza, who actually put this on. He called me from Egypt and said, Sam, we have chosen KNUST as one of the institutions to do this talk, and do you like to come on board? And I say yes, and then we work together. And so thank you very much for coming all the way to come and support us. And a big thank you to Prof. Ajari, who has been very supportive of me, and also I know Asase Upon has left already, Rex, but a big thank you. But thank you to all of you for coming. Please take these ideas forward and start using them straight away. Because based on my experience, what happens in most of these workshops is that people come and then they say, oh yeah, it was a good one, and then they go to sleep, and the next time they have forgotten. Please go straight into action. That is the only way you can say that you have profited from this workshop. We have lunch for you outside there. The ladies there would guide you, and please take your lunch, and we would, you would hear from us again when we have another workshop on offer. But thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Yes, thank you. Go down. You are on time. GMA. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's always, yeah. Yeah. When are you supposed to be there?